Okay, so like they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying. They're fasting. They're studying. They're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the sisters out there, the aquap out there, the sincere sisters, holding it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive, being diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom, shalom. And shalom to everybody tuning in live. It's another Monday Night Fire. The topic is, are you watching? Diving right into current events, right? Are you watching? When we go into are you watching, meaning are you being circumspect when it comes to what Yahweh is on the earth? Every day there's judgment unfolding on the earth. Every day there's something happening pertaining to what the Most High said would happen from the foundation of the world. Rather there are earthquakes, or rather there are political alliances being formed, rather economies are crashing, rather you have nations of people rising up against each other, rather you have fearful sights of heavens. These are things that we have to watch and pay attention for, because the Most High has given us signs and clues to let us know how close we are to being out of this captivity. Right, let's go to the book of Zephaniah, right, the 3rd chapter. Let's get straight into it, right, because you have brothers and our people and sisters who dread this captivity, and rightfully so, man. The air is polluted, the water's polluted, the people's minds are polluted, the land is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Everything is corrupted. So we hasten to look for a peace, man, for rest. But the Lord, what he has done is he has given us things to look for, to comfort us, man. So when you see these prophecies unfolding, you should be comforted. You should know how close you are to getting out of here, man. Now, if Yahweh Ba'ashmi Abashai didn't give us these prophecies to look forward to, and we'll probably die without hope, man. Right? If the Most High did not tell us things to look forward to that built up to his second coming of his son, then we'll be hopeless, man. There will be no expectation. Right? But the love of Yahweh Ba'ashmi Abashai prevails, man. And the Lord has had mercy upon us by giving us things to see on the earth, to stir our spirits up, to know that his return draws nigh. Right now, this is Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter. This is Zephaniah chapter 3. Right, so like, let's go to Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter, and I'm gonna go to verse 5. Right, Zephaniah chapter 3 and 5. The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doeth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. Right? Because you may have a brother who may be in this truth, and you may be in this thing, but you may not think that things are happening, right? Until you see a bomb drop, or until an earthquake kills 50,000 people. That's the only time you think the Most High is visiting the earth. Well, that's not according to what's written. According to Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter, it says, every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. You understand? So what the Most High does is every day something is happening, man. And it's up to you to be able to find out what's happening and link it directly in with the Bible. Right? Because there's not going to be some great voice from heaven saying, this is the fulfillment of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 10. This is the fulfillment of Matthew 10 and 17. And second, you're not going to have some voice just telling you that these prophecies are being fulfilled. You got to watch and see what's going on and link it in with the scriptures. Let's go to Ephesians, right? The 5th chapter. And we're going to go into things that are happening on the earth and tie it directly in with biblical prophecy, right? This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 15. I'm going to start at 14, right? Ephesians chapter 5 and 14. Wherefore he said, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light. So it's time to resurrect out of the graves spiritually, to repent, come back to this truth, forsake sin, forsake the world, forsake the old you, forsake these demons, and the Lord is going to give you light. Right now, the light is this truth. Right? That's Proverbs chapter 6 and 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is a light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. And then another place in St. John 8 and 12, Yahweh Shah said that he is the light. So it's commanded of us to repent and come to this truth, right? And wake up to what Yahweh Shai has in store for us. Here's the point in verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. I'm going to read that again. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Now, the walk that it's talking about, it's not always talking about the walk to your car, right? Or the walk from the garage to your house, man. Or from the living room to the kitchen. That walk is your path and its truth. Your journey on the straight and narrow gate. It's likened into a narrow path pursuing the second Ezra, the 7th chapter, right? Where fire's on one hand and water's on another, right? Even so small that only one man can go therein at once. As you walk, you have to be observant. That's what it means, circumspect. To pay attention to your surroundings spiritually as you walk with Yahweh Shemel in his truth. As you ponder the path of your feet, right? The Lord said, look well to your goings, right? Let's get this in Proverbs real quick, right? You want to be circumspect and know what's going on around you. Like we always say, don't just be occupied in local news, because local news is not the grand scheme of what the Most High is doing on earth. The Most High is doing greater things than a PTA meeting at the public schools that shows up on the local news. He's doing greater things than a 7-day forecast, right? And a rainstorm coming on Friday, man. The Most High is doing greater things than a cat stuck in a tree, right? Or who won the local soccer game in high school, man. That's local news. You have to broaden your horizon and open up your eyes spiritually to see what the Most High is doing in France. What is the Most High doing in Italy? What is Yahweh Shemel doing with Iran and Saudi Arabia? What is the Most High doing in the firmament? What is Yahweh Shemel doing in the earth? You have to open up your eyes spiritually that you can see the wonderful works of the Most High. Right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 4 and verse, I'm going to start at 11. Right? Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 11. And I'm going to get into these current events, right? We got things that we want to get into, but we have to always push the fact that we have to be watchmen, right? We have to be watchmen, right? This is Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 11. Because again, the beautiful thing about being a watchman, and it's more than just a cat. Every brother in his truth is a watchman, or so you should be, giving our people warning based off of what Yahweh Shemel is revealing unto you, man. Right? And charging them to turn from the sword. Right? This is Proverbs chapter 4. Because the Most High is going to kill a lot of people, man. And I'm going to get on that. I don't want to jump the gun, but I'm going to get on that. Right? I'm going to get on the crows dismantling the flag. There's been a lot of flag activity, man. You got people burning flags. You got Edomites burning. I'm not going to jump the gun. We're going to touch on all of that, man. Right? But let me get this precept, Lord willing, right? This Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 11. I have taught thee in the way of wisdom. I have led thee in right paths. When thou goest, thy steps shall not be straightened. And when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble. So you're charged to run in this thing. And when Yahweh Shemel is with you and you're watching, you're not going to stumble. Right? Read it on. Take fast hold of instruction. Let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life. Now I'm going to jump down in Proverbs. This is Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 21. I'm going to start at 20. My son, attend to my words, and incline thine ear unto my sayings. Let them not depart from thee. Keep them in the midst of thine heart, for they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Meaning, keep your mind, right? Stay focused, right? Be dialed in. This is fourth quarter. Watch over what goes into your mind. That's what it means, keep your heart, right? What are you putting in your spirit, man? What are you partaking in? What do you think about? Are you just thinking about your job all day, or thinking about lewdness and folly all day, or thinking about the world all day, or sports all day? Check your spirit, man. right? Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life, right? Put away from thee the forward mouth, a forward mouth, Salakia, and perverse lips put far from thee. Here's the point I want. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right hand, nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. Right, so you're supposed to be focused on this thing, circumspect, that you don't trip and stumble and fall. Circumspect as you watch the judgments that the Most High is doing on the earth, man. And we get excited when we see those judgments, man. Right, we get excited when we see the earthquakes. We get excited when we see nations against nations, when we see wars and rumors of wars. These things bring joy into our heart, man. Right, the Lord said, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. So we're happy to see how the Most High is judging these nations on behalf of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man, and his people. So there are things going on in the earth right now. Mighty works. Let me get one more real quick before I actually pull up the first thing I want to go into. Right? This is the book of St. Luke, chapter 21 and verse 29. Right? St. Luke, chapter 21 and 29. And he spake to them a parable. Behold, the fig tree and all the trees. So the Lord is about to liken a tree unto a particular event. Reading on. When they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is now nigh at hand. Right? You can watch, you go outside now and watch the trees, they're turning green. They're beginning to bloom. Leaves are growing. Summer fruit is coming in. Certain fruits only grow in the summertime, strawberries and pears. And now you begin to see that at that time, summer's right around the corner. Right? And it is. It's almost summertime. Just like when you see these prophecies begin to come to pass, you know that the kingdom of heaven is right around the corner. All right, that's what the Most High said. So likewise, yea, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of God is nigh at hand. So as you watch these events and you see them happening, event after event, catastrophe after catastrophe, right? World news after world news, you know in your mind that, wow, man, we almost out of here, right? It's only a matter of time. I don't have to be depressed. I don't have to have my head down. I don't have to be stressed. I don't have to worry about bills and rent forever. I know because I've been watching and checking off these prophecies that the kingdom of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, is right around the corner. It's like you got to get picked up and you need a ride. You got one person in the basement on their phone. Talking about, oh, he's taking all day. They're taking all day. When are they going to get here? You got somebody on the porch watching. They kind of see him turn that corner. They're going to get excited, man. They're going to be in a different spirit than the person not watching. The person in the basement waiting on the ride is just, I don't know when they're going to get here. They'll never be here. I don't even want to go anymore. You got somebody outside peeking in the blinds or through the blinds, looking out the door. They watch him turn the corner. They see him at the light. They see him come past and pull up. And that person, they ready, man. They ready to go because they're watching. They care. They want to leave. They don't want to be in the current destination that they're in. They're looking to go somewhere else. So they're watching. They're waiting on their ride. Hey, our ride out of here is these chariots, man. I don't know if anybody told you, but Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to get us out of here, man. There are chariot sightings every day. They have been increasing over the past decade. Sightings abundantly in California, Oregon, Ohio, New York. They're here, man. We are on our way out of here, man. So this is what Yahushua is talking about. This is why it's important to watch. Let's read that again. St. Luke chapter 21 and verse 31. So likewise, yea, when ye see these things come to pass. What are these things? Everything that was listed prior to this verse. All of the prophecies in Luke chapter 21, right? Know ye that the kingdom of the Most High is nigh at hand. Verily, I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. And I'm going to jump to verse 28, right? Luke 21 and 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Let's read that again. Luke 21 and 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, meaning the prophecies begin to unfold and you see them before your very eyes, then look up. Because a lot of brothers, you got your head down now. I don't know if we're ever really going to get out of here. Is this really the truth? Are the chariots real? Maybe I'll be working forever. Nothing's really happening. The Lord said, lift up your head because your redemption draweth nigh. Right? And there are things happening, man. Right? There are things happening on the earth. Right? Now, one of the first things I want to get, right, amongst the events I want to join, you have, so here's the one of the first things I want to make sure that this is showing. All right, bear with me. Right, bear with me. Okay. Okay, it's a slight, maybe a slight delay. Right, maybe a slight delay, but we're still here through the Spirit. Okay. All right. So this is something I saw earlier, right? Now, we all know about the, well, I'm not going to say we all, but, right, there's a political alliance. Hold on, Salakia. There's a political alliance called the European Union. Now, I'm going to show this video, right? Let's pull this up. Now, the EU is an Edomite alliance. Let's be more specific. An Edomite alliance, right? Now, these are flags, right? These are flags of the EU, US, and NATO set on fire. You see that? Now, this is from 442, right? A few hours ago. Hold on, I want to see if I can kind of pause it. So this is from one of these whistleblowers, Sprider, right? So a lot of these things that we begin to see, they come from people that study geopolitics, you know, people that have boots on the ground, inside sources, whistleblowers, political analysis, right? This is more than just your Fox News and your local ABC News. Now you can hear the Italian, the Italian being spoken in the background. Now, this says flags of the EU, meaning the European Union, the United States, and NATO set on fire at a protest in Italy. Now, here's their caption, right? The Italians do not want to send money and weapons to Kiev because guess what? Two things. Number one, America is continually stirring up war with Russia. America is a part of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Now, America, Canada, and predominantly Western European nations make that alliance. Now, there are particular articles and ordinances and clauses that are intertwined and embedded with that alliance. One of those alliances, one of those articles or clauses says that if one NATO country, and this is Article 5 of NATO, right? You're more than welcome to look it up, or I may pull it up. Article 5 says that if one NATO country is attacked by some foreign entity, by default, it is an attack on all NATO countries. So they know that. So Italy is a part of NATO. And if the United States continually sends money and weapons to Kiev, which is the capital of Ukraine, that means they're provoking Russia to war. Now, that means Italy, they don't want to go to war with Russia. Italy is willing to burn the European Union flags and flags of NATO and Babylon the Great because they do not approve of the way Babylon the Great has been handling what's going on the earth. Now, this is major prophecy. You can say, well, what's so? I don't know about that. And all I know is slave ships. Well, there's more prophecy in the Bible than going into captivity on ships and being sold to your enemies. That's a significant prophecy. We're not denying that. But there are things going on in the earth. This is from 2 hours ago. Huh? And we're going to back it up in the Bible. Now, let's pull up a map of NATO. Right? See if we can get a map. Right? It's like I kind of spelled that wrong, but that's okay. Right? Map of NATO countries. Just to actually show you. Let's give you a visual of countries that are and NATO is really a modern day Roman Empire. That's all it is. It's really a revived Roman Empire. All right, so let's pull this map up. Let's see. Right, there's a lot of good maps we can show. Here's another one. See that? All right, this is a good one. Everything highlighted in green. Right, this is a map key right here, or a map legend, right? And it's pretty plain. Everything in green are NATO member countries. You have Canada, the United States, Netherlands, Belgium, Iceland, the United Kingdom, Luxembourg, Portugal, Spain, France, Germany, Italy, right? Which is the topic of this current event right now, this specific one. Montenegro, Albania, Greece, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, Slovakia, Czechia, Lithuania, Poland, Latvia, Estonia, Norway, and Denmark. Now, Italy is the topic of discussion. They are indeed one of the founding members of NATO. One of the founding members of NATO when you look it up. All right. Now, they're supposed to be a team, a unit, and solidarity, unification. They're supposed to have one mind. When you go to Revelation, let's go to Revelation, the 17th chapter. Right? Let's actually show that they're supposed to have one mind. You're not supposed to have one NATO country burning another NATO country. If you want, get it in layman's terms. Let's say you got the Lakers, right? The Los Angeles Lakers, right? You got Magic Johnson burning Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's jersey, right? Michael Jordan burning Scottie Pippen's jersey in the offseason. What does that mean, man? That means that team is over. They have no camaraderie. They have no unity. They are divided, man. Not only that, they're burning the general manager's house down. They're burning the owner. That they're finished. If you see those type of actions from an organization, any organization, it can be a startup company, it can be a Fortune 500 company, it can be a political alliance, it can be a sports organization. If you see that type of division, that type of sedition and discord, it's only a matter of time before that place goes down, before it's over, and they lose power from within, man. That's what they call it, self-implosion. Now we're going to show you that they have one mind, according to the Bible, right? This is the book of Revelation. Let's talk about NATO and the EU, right? We're not going to go all the way into it, right? But this is Revelation chapter 17 and verse 12, right? Revelation chapter 17 and 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. meaning for a certain dispensation of time. From the 1950s up until they're destroyed, that's that 1 hour. Because NATO was founded, if I'm not mistaken, after World War II. Not too long after World War II, NATO was founded. So when the Bible says 1 hour, it's not 60 minutes. It's speaking about a short, it's like bear with me. Shalom, elder. I'm going live. I'm gonna hit you back. All right, shalom. Right, Salaki. So for a certain dispensation of time, you will have this unification between these European countries. All right. Now let's read verse 13. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. I'm going to read that again. Listen to this. Revelation chapter 17 and 13. These have one mind, because they all are really, they're supposed to move on one accord. Whatever Canada does, guess who's supposed to have their back? Norway. Right? Whatever Estonia does, Turkey is supposed to have their back. Right? Whatever the UK does, Spain is supposed to have their back. They have one mind, one mission, one playbook, one script. So how do you have one mind and then you got part of your body burning another part of your body? And I'm going to show the video again. Right? These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So you can't make this up. Right? They have one mind. But let's read on. Right? Let's read on. I'm going to actually jump down. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16. Okay, Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Now the 10 horns is the European Union, formerly known as the European Economic Committee. You may hear some scholars or some politicians say the 10 common markets. That's what they're called, the 10 horns. If you look up, right, let's move this map. Let's type in 10 common markets. Right? The European single market or common market is a single market comprising of the 27 member states of the European Union. So they're called the 10 common markets, but it's really 27 member states. It used to be just 10, right? But 10 is also a spiritual number that means a great amount or a completion, right? So sometimes 10 is actually 10, sometimes 10 is not. But it started with the European Economic Committee and these 10 common markets. That's what the Bible calls it, the 10 horns. All right, the 10 horns. Now, let's go on. Let's read this again in Revelation. So everything that you see happening on the earth, you can find it in the Bible. Stop letting people tell you the Bible isn't real. Either one or two things. Either they haven't read the Bible or they don't understand the Bible. Those are the only people that say the Bible isn't real. Show me the relevance of the Bible today. Right? The Bible is out of date with society. You got people making all types of new Bibles and with different spirits and madness on the earth. Right? But yet there's only one people, which are the children of Israel, the servants of the Lord, that can go in the Bible and show you exactly what's happening on the earth right now. The Muslims can't show you about the European market. Right? Name some Muslim that can show you what's going on in Italy right now as they burn NATO, European Union, and American flag. Show me that in the Surah or the Quran or the Hadiths or the writings or any of those blasphemous books, man. How can they explain what's going on right now? They can't. What about modern day Christianity? Where are the pastors at in church? Why aren't they going into the current events? Why do every time you ask them about Revelation, they give you the same answer? Oh, it's sealed. Or they say, well, don't worry about that. Just focus on love. Because they don't have the answers. You men that are into Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Roman Catholicism, where are the answers? How can you show the children of Jacob what's going on the earth right now, man? You're going to find out that they can't. Following the religions and the customs of man will get you killed, man, by the Most High God. But everything that we're going through is in the Bible. We can go and show you the 10 horns. We show you Babylon the Great. We can show you a nation divided against itself, right? So this is, again, Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Now, hold on now. You got the 10 horns, okay, you got the beast, and you got the whore. We described the 10 horns. The 10 horns is the 10 common markets, the European Union. The beast is NATO, an amalgamation of these European countries, the military force of the European Union. And the whore is America. America is the whore that sits upon the beast, meaning they receive power and influence and leverage, right, from these European nations. Now, the Lord said that the EU is going to hate the whore. They're going to hate the whore. And they're beginning to hate her right now. They're eating her flesh and burning her flag with fire. Right? They're burning their flags with fire. Let's pull it back up. This is a big deal. This is no small matter. Now, I'm not an Italian. You can't say, well, what are they saying? Naquam, or well, I don't know. I don't speak Italian. Now, if a brother can speak Italian and he kind of know what's going on, then you can kind of put it on the comment board, break it down, and you can translate, you can look it up. Now, I'm pretty sure they're not saying we love America, right? I can almost get, not almost, I guarantee that. They are not saying we love the European Union. We love America, and God save Joe Biden, right? Now, brother said he can't hear it, right? That's okay, right? You can watch it. Just worry about the visuals, right? Just check the visuals out and look at what they're doing. I know the sound may not be there, right? But that's okay, right? You got the guy's page right there, Spriter, for those who got Twitter, right? And that's what, sometimes we encourage brothers to have social media, not for the folly that goes on there, but because there are alternative media sites and sources where you can receive a lot of information and link it directly up with prophecy. See that flag right there? Hold on, let me go back. So they got like a flare. They got a flare in their hand. I wanted to pause it. They're not letting me pause it. Let me go back. Right, let me go back. You see what they did to the flag already. And they got kids there, man. Right? They have children there. Babies. All right? Young ones. Let me get the brother in here, Salakia. Back. All right, Shalom, King.
Shalom, King. Yabashmi Ashabakta.
Shalom. Yahweh Shabbat. Let's pull this back up. Right? Right? I'm pulling up flags of the EU, United States, and NATO set on fire at a protest in Italy. The Italians do not want to send money and weapons to Kiev, man. So you got the so-called white man burning up the so-called white man's flag. Now, Italy and America used to be tight. They play on the same team. At one time, they had the same agenda. There was a time when NATO had one common goal: to stop a third world war on the continent of Europe. That was the point, right? To stop European nations from fighting European nations, to stop Edomites from killing other Edomites and global war, and also to stop foreign countries from destroying Europe as a whole, man. Like Russia, You understand? Like China, Japan, you know? So these nations came together, but now things aren't looking too good. Things are not looking up for the EU and NATO. See that? So that's the EU flag right there they're burning. So let me get a quick precept. Let's go to the book of Mark, the 3rd chapter. Right? Let's go to Mark, the 3rd chapter. They're burning the flag, man. St. Mark chapter 3 and verse 22. It reads, and the scribes which came down from Jerusalem said, he hath Beelzebub, Slakia, he hath Beelzebub, and by the prince of the devils casteth he out devils. So they said Yahweh Shah is casting out demons by using demonic power. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Let's read St. Mark chapter 3 and 24 again. And if a kingdom, right, we link this up with Revelation the 17th chapter, that there will be a kingdom and give their power with 1 hour to the beast. Right? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself, and that's what's going on. The Italians are the ones that crucified the Lord, man. They are Satan too. America, they're the ones who crucified the Lord. Pursuing the Revelation 11 chapter 2, man. Right? It says where also our Lord was crucified. So they're both, Italy and America are both partakers in the crucifixion of Yahweh Shai, rather physically or his image through his people. So you got Satan rising up against Satan right now, man. It reads, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end. So he hath an end right now, man. You're watching the European Union, one of the greatest political alliances, rip at the seams. Brothers got it.
Con, all praise to the Most High, man. And this place is finished and getting destroyed right before our eyes. That's why we got to be on the edge of our seats, watching, praying, fasting, being diligent. Hey, you got to be reading more than ever in the last days, doing the work of the Lord. Well, let me get this quick precept. It's 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and verse number 5. It says, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning, and the end is manifest. So the Lord is manifesting the end right before your eyes. The prophets waking up, the elders, all the men that were before us, paving the way through the Spirit. And the Lord is showing you through these world events, right? These fires, these tumults, these uprises and uproars, that the world is ending right before our eyes. Right, let me get the book of Job. This Job chapter 12, right, in verse 14. It says, behold, he breaketh down, and it cannot be built again. So when the Lord starts to break down a nation, a person, a people, whatever the case may be, it's not going to be built again, man. It said, they shall build, but I will throw down, paraphrasing, man. In the book of Malachi, the 1st chapter, it says, behold, he breaketh down. And the Lord break you down multi ways, man. It's not just with bombs. The Lord will break you down with birth rates. Esau birth rates is going down. He'll break you down economically, right? I don't know if you brought this out, King, but you got Argentina saying that they don't want to use the dollar anymore with China when they're doing their trades. So everybody's withdrawn and removing themselves from America's economy, man. The euros, the dollars. It says, behold, he breaketh down, and it cannot be built again. He shutteth up a man, and there could be no opening. So when the Lord started to shut up this place, and that's shutting it up with all type of famines, shutting it up, the environment, right? All these things are going down right before our eyes. And it's starting off, and that's what you got to be watching. It's all throughout the four corners of the earth. I always say you can't just be watching your Fox 5 News right in your next city, man. There's World War III on the rise, man. There's people getting put to death. You know, Russia just sent some missiles to Ukraine. These things are going on right before our eyes. That's why we got to be continuously watching in the last days. You got it.
Con. And I'm going to play this one more time, right? I'm going to play this one more time. Right. You see that? So, things are going down, man. You got playing good, great, right? So, I mean, this place is finished, man. This is not your grandfather's America, man, and your great grandfather's America, right? You have complete kingdoms ripping apart at the seams, and the European Union is falling apart, man. Right? Remember, France, they just visited China not too long ago and said, look, we know what America's doing, but that's not really our cup of tea. So Italy's mad at America. France is mad at America. All of these European nations are breaking off, man. Right? They are all breaking off. Right? Let me get another quick precept on this. Right? Let's go to the book of Daniel. Right? This is Daniel chapter 2 and verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, Salakia, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. So this was a vision and a dream given to Nebuchadnezzar. He saw one image and four kingdoms. The head of gold, the Neo-Babylonian Empire, right? Around 626 to 539 BC. The arms and chest of silver, which are the Medo-Persian Empire, around 550 to 331 BC, right? Then you had the Babylonian, it's like the Greek Empire, which was a thigh in the belly of brass, 331 to around 146 BC. Then you had the Roman Empire, right, which technically started in 27 BC, and they ultimately fell in 476 AD, and the eastern part fell around 1445 BC. Right? So you had these four kingdoms, but America is part of that kingdom. America is an extension of that kingdom. They are those toes. They're part of those toes, man. Right? Because you got 10 digits, and America is part of one of those digits, man. They're the big toe on the right foot, if you can understand. Now, the Most High said that it reads, and whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron. The iron is that Roman Empire, because they still have the strength of Rome. America still has a strong military might. They have one of the top armories in the earth. They store the most missiles. They have the biggest budget on military spending, military bases in every continent. So they still have that strength of iron. The kingdom shall be divided. And you see this kingdom being divided before your eyes. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. And that's the influence of America's military might. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. So it's partly strong. They still have missiles. I mean, they still have prime ministers and presidents. They still have banks for now, right? They still have influence on the world, but they are also partly broken. And you see them being partly broken before your eyes, right? Now, this is something else going on, right? This is something else. This is another sign of America being finished, man. Another sign of America being finished. And we had the brothers in WFI Rhode Island actually went to this event. I don't know if this event is multiple days or one day, but they showed up, man. And they represented Yahweh Shai mightily out there, man. So America, they're showing who they truly are. Satan Con 2023 is being called the largest Satan gathering in history. Now, how can you have a Satan gathering in a country whose currency says "In God We Trust," whose number one religion is Christianity, right? But they're showing who they truly are, right? They are showing who they truly are. Now, this was done in Boston, right? You can see the Edomites, man. Look at their signs. They got skirts on, and from Flame Damien will rise. It's for all of you, right? And then you had Christians out there. You had Sodomites out there. His shirt said, look at this Edomite shirt. 666. And he got the beast right there. It's for all of you. You see this? See that? So you can't make this up. 666. And this sometimes I'm at a loss for words, man. Sometimes I'm at a loss for words when you see these things, man. I got a precept real quick. All right. Let's go to Ecclesiastes.
Go when after you.
Oh, go ahead, Yaradon. You had a precept?
Khan, Salakia. We start at 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. It says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world." And you know, Satanists, now they can say, well, look, we're nice people. I mean, does that look like something that's nice? Does that look friendly? Does that look like it's gonna some good is gonna come out of that? Any type of fruits? No. I mean, anything on the left-hand side is obviously clearly wicked and profane. They have that do without will spirit. In other words, you can do whatever your heart's desire. But we know according to the scriptures, on the right-hand side, the heart is evil. Yet, your heart is evil. And you can't follow after your own heart. Just going to Sirach 5th chapter in the 2nd verse. But reading on in verse 18, it says this: "Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come." And the Antichrist is just one person in a suit, and as many people. And it's going to tell us, "Even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time." Where an Antichrist, you against Yahushua. Now back in the back in like what, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 40s, the 30s, these so-called white families, they'll go to church every Sunday. That doesn't mean that the Lord's with them and they're keeping commandments, but at least they'll believe in God. So-called. They kind of have some type of faith. But now it just waxed worse. So much so, I mean, you have actual Satan come. That's nasty. That's corrupt. And it reads this, verse 19: "They went out from us, but they were not of us." No, I yield on that. So you got a lot of Antichrist in these last days. And that's I mean, people keep saying, well, where are the signs? Where are the signs? Yeah, at this point, you just got to be ignoring it, because if this isn't a sign, I don't know what is.
And let me get a quick precept.
Go ahead, King.
Let me get this quick precept. And like the brother said, man, if you don't see it, you're just ignoring the signs, man. You're not watching. They got a satanic amusement park, man. I don't know if brother saw that or not, but it's literally an amusement park where they got blood they paddling on, going to different goblins and goblins and all type of gores, and witchcraft and wizards. and it's all black and red with blood shooting up everywhere, people getting wet, and these people are paying money to go to this thing, man. This Isaiah chapter 59 and 13. It says, "In the transgressing and lying against the Lord, and departing away from our God, speaking oppression and revolt, concerning uttering and the heart words of falsehood." So when you depart from the Lord, you start giving heed to falsehood, oppression, lies. You get mixed up in a tumult with all of these demons. And like the brother said, you can't love the world. It says, and judgment is turned away backwards. Because in the ancient world, man, they would have been stoned. Brothers would have killed them. You can't walk up and down proudly as a homosexual. Can't walk up and down with a flag on and horns and just prelude your nastiness to the world, man, in front of man. And people were more quiet about it in the dark. But now everything's just coming out, man. You know, you have the creatures at night, the beasts of the field, where they creep forth. Right, like it says in Psalms chapter 104 and 14, 20 all the way down. Right. So the Lord is showing you in the last days that men are just coming out, man. It's easy to be seen because the light is shining on the world. It says, and judgment is turned away backwards, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. It said truth is falling in the street. What's going on in the streets, man? You got rages, blood trafficking, people stampeding, lies, tumults, people wearing all type of costumes. The Lord said truth is falling in the streets. The only truth left in the streets are the servants of the Lord. The ones shaking the hand, telling you to come back to repent. It says, yeah, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. So when you depart from evil, like people look at you crazy, man. You're not going out to the club. You're not going to the Satan con. You're not getting drunk tonight. What are you getting into? Once you depart, you're like an oddball. But that makes us that little altar that you read about in Ezekiel 11 chapter, man. That makes us special unto the Lord. When we depart from evil and not be given in to the seduction and the seducing of witchcraft, right, by America. It says, yeah, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment, man. So the Lord sees that there's no judgment on this earth. Who's judging the so-called white man right now? He's just oppressing people, shooting innocent so-called black males, right? Getting away free. He's making all of these decrees and unjust laws. Where is the judgment on the earth? Don't think that the Lord is just watching this and he's not displeased, right? You got it, Ken.
Yeah, that's right, man. I mean, the Lord sees all things, man. Right? The Most High, he's a beholder of what's going on. Now, sometimes at camp, or even dealing amongst family, or you may have the spirit where you may be showing somebody at the plantation the scriptures, and you teach them repentance, and you show them how to serve the Most High. And when you're in this truth, you're going to eventually have to deal with a common stumbling block, which is the so-called white man being your enemy. And people say, well, the white man's not that bad. He's not our enemy. There's good so-called white people. Well, the Most High is making it plain. America's not that bad. I mean, look at this, man. It's plain. It's right before you, like the brother said, man. Right, let me go to Ecclesiasticus. Right? It's right before your eyes. Why would you still want to be part of this man's system, man? This Ecclesiasticus chapter 21 and verse 9. Right? So right 21 and 9. The congregation of the wicked. It's like tow wrapped together, and the end of them is a flame of fire to destroy them. And this is the congregation of the wicked. The way of sinners is made plain with stones, but at the end thereof is the pit of hell. So they're talking about Damien will rise, and they're dealing with Satan who's in hell. Well, the Most High is going to give them over to hell. And he's not talking about a fiery place underground. Right? The Lord said in Psalms chapter 9 and 17, the wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God, paraphrasing. So the Most High said that at the end of the day, the way of the wicked is made plain with stones. It's playing, and they're just being who they are. See, Jake, you gotta fight to be a Muslim. It's not really in your spirit. You just looking for a garment to put on. Man. You gotta fight and dread, Jake. You don't like going to church, man. You just go. Right? Speaking mainly for the men, you don't like going there, man. You go into these doctrines and religion, but it doesn't really fit you. This is Esau's thing. This is not a costume event. This is who they are. This is them being their true self. This is Esau at his finest. Prime Esau in his prime, right? Prime Esau, huh? Prime Edom, right? I got another quick precept. This is the book of Second. You said what, King?
I said, Khan, I got one after you.
Okay, go ahead. You got it, brother.
Okay, Khan, and one quick point too. I was at work. Esau. I work with this old Edomite man. He's at least in his late 50s, the early 60s, and he said, I think I brought this up before on the Monday Night Fire, but if not, he showed me his phone. He said, "Yeah, this is what I did this weekend," and he showed me his phone. He had painted his face. Right, he turned himself into some type of creature, and he went to this bar where he plays with his Edomite friends, and they get on a guitar and they just start turning into demons right before the whole the bar or club. And then he said it got so turned up, he got on top of the tables. He had a mask on, his face painted, and he had this hair on. And he's 60-something years old. He's 50-something years old, man. So these Edomites, it's just bred in their spirit to be corrupt demons walking the earth, man. And they can't hide it. There's nothing that they can do to hide it, man. Right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 57 and verse 8. It says, "Behold," right? It's like behind the doors also and the posts have they set up thy remembrance, for thou hast discovered thyself to another than me. So the Lord said, we're discovering ourselves by joining ourselves to America, man. Just like a woman could discover herself. She could show her thigh, right? She could show her chest, right? She could show herself to another other than her husband. That's what we're doing as a nation. We're blending in with all of this freak fest, man. Instead of coming out of her. It says, behind the doors and the posts hast thou set up in thy remembrance, but thou hast discovered thyself to another than me, and art gone up and has enlarged thy bed, and made a covenant with them, thou that lovest their bed where thou sawest it, man. The Lord said we lovest their bed. Our people got to come out of America, man. And this is not fun. Painting up, going to concerts, getting drunk, popping pills, getting high. When did this become fun? No, we got seduced into thinking this was the way of life, that this was fun, that this was turning up, that this is the lifestyle, that this is the dream and the Hollywood vision. And this is what we were sold into, man. Our minds have been corrupt. We don't even know what fun is anymore. Enjoyment, righteousness, family. All we do and the way we think is all of America. Success, right? Graduation, going to college. All of these different things have mapped out and has formed us in seduction. Right, let me get one more. And the Lord said that in the book of Ezekiel. Right, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 13 and verse number 10. Because they have seduced my people. So the Lord said there are people that are seducing you, man. And seduction, it happens very subtly, very crafty, subtle, bad in the eyes, perfume, sending notes. It's very subtle the way you get seduced, man. America didn't put a bag over you, wrap it around, and throw you in the back seat of his van, man, and peel off in the nighttime. No, it seduced you since you were a child to its customs and Halloween and traditions and all of these things. As you see this, it's not an outrage anymore. It's not out of the question. You're not questioning whether this is evil anymore because you're seduced so much in a way of thinking that you think this type of stuff is normal. To walk around creatures, for people to drink blood and all of these things to go on. It says, saying peace when there was no peace, and built one, Salakia, and one built up a wall, and lo, others dabbed it with intemperate mortar. So it's sitting up here building up a place, with the temperate mortar, man. Getting confused and seduced on the way of it, man. But you got it.
Con, and I want to show this real quick. Right, let me see if I can find this. All right, now I'm gonna take this off the screen. I'm gonna put it back up. But out this. Hold on, bear with me. Okay, hold on. Right, Salakia. Now this is one of the opening of SatanCon. This is what they do. Now I don't have to break down to you what book is in her hand. It's not an in-depth secret what book is in this Edomite devil's hand. This witch. The opening of SatanCon, and a Bible is shredded as attendees cheer. This is pure evil. So check this out. See that? Hold on. Let me play it one more time. Hold on. Let me get this light. Let me see if we can get some. This is what the society's about. See that? See that? Right? I mean, but we're not really surprised, man, because we know what kingdom we dwell in. I want to get this quick precept, right? Right, Salaki. I want to get this quick precept. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So one of the major prophecies that have to happen is that the wicked have to be revealed. It has to be plain upon tables who the wicked is. So you got Jake, you got people saying, well, there's wicked Jake, right? You got wicked Moabites. Well, if this doesn't make it plain, like we read in Ecclesiasticus, the 21st chapter, that the way of sinners is made plain with stones. If this don't make it plain who the wicked is, I don't know what else to go into.
I think the brother muted. Satan trying to take away the word. But like the brother was saying, man, if it's not plain by now, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Nobody knows what to tell you. You're still asleep. You're still in a delusion by America, man. By it seducing your mind all of these years, man. We got to come up out of this place, be on fire for the Lord, and condemn the wicked. Let me get this quick precept. Let me go to the book of Job, man. The mighty book of Job. Right? It's the mighty book of Job, chapter 15 and verse, I'm going to start at 20. The wicked man travaileth with pain all his days, and the number of years is hidden to the oppressor. A dreadful sound is in his ears. So when they're tearing up the Bible, that's a dreadful sound in their ears, man. They don't want to hear the prophecies. They don't want to see Jake wake up. They actually hate the Lord, man. There's secret, crafty counsels and sacrifices being done in the dark, man. You read about that in Wisdom of Solomon. Let me get that quick precept. 2, because you got secret sacrifices. They're drinking blood. All of these different things are going on while you're sitting at home drinking iced tea, man, being slothful, right? Con, you got it, King, where you left off. I got precept after you.
Okay, Con, let me read 2 Thessalonians, right? The 2nd chapter, real quick. Thessalonians, right? Chapter 2 and verse 8. Right, it reads, and then shall that wicked be revealed. So again, one of the major prophecies that have to unfold is that the world, mainly Israel, has to know who the wicked truly are. Because all throughout the Bible, you read about the wicked, right? Job 9 and Psalms and Job 21, Job 20. All of these precepts show that word wicked. And you may say, I'm still trying to figure out who the wicked is. Is it wicked Israelites? Is it the 2/3? The Most High is going to make it plain. Then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And the Lord's eating up the so-called white man through these prophecies, consuming and destroying him, breaking down his darkness, breaking down his false image, and showing that he is the true devil according to the Bible, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. So that's plain. The wicked whose coming is after Satan. What people want to be like Satan the most? There's no Moabite Satan cons. There's no Ishmaelite Satan conventions, right? There's no Hamite Satan conventions. Who's working like Satan? Who shapeshifts their body and to have horns and splits their tongue like a serpent and puts tattoo scales in their body, man, to be a venomous adder? Only the so-called white man does these things, man. He is being revealed as the wicked according to the Bible, man. Right, but you got it, King. I want to read a little bit of this and then go on.
And to add on to that, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 22. Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of God, but whereas they lived in great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace. So it says that great plagues they're calling peace, for which they slew their children in sacrifices, or use secret ceremonies. So the so-called white man, he'll slay children, he'll drink baby blood. Right? What was that man that had about 15 heart transplants, King? We was talking about it on the Sabbath service.
One of the Rothschilds.
Yeah, one of the Rothschilds. He's having 1,000 heart transplants. Just want to live forever. Just drinking blood, doing heart transplants, just trying to stay alive, man. It says, for which they slew their children in sacrifices. And they actually eat Israelites, man. Right? They'll slay you and skin your body. And those Edomites, they eat the flesh. It says, or use secret ceremonies. And the secret ceremonies isn't talking about they come to the basement and play cards. Right? They actually have diagrams, candles, bloods, dark magic, warlocks, and witches. And they do these things. And we're not, and brother, how do you know it's in the Bible, man? Read the book of Numbers. See how they are sorcerers set up. Read the book of 1 Samuel, the 20th chapter. Understand how these elites and these nobles, they have councils, man. Read the book of Psalm 64. Read the book of Psalms 83. Read Judith, the 2nd chapter. See how these nobles and elites, they come together in all these empires and they set up ceremonies, councils, all to destroy you. It says, or use secret ceremonies or made revelings of strange riots. This is a reveling of strange riots. It's not a reveling of a tumult. We're trying to figure out where the Lord is, man. Like in Luke 5 and 1 all the way down. They was trying to figure out and grab the Lord and righteousness. It's not a tumult in righteousness. It's a tumult in demons and uprises. It says revelings of strange riots, man. Man, they do marches. So all of these different things Esau and the elite and all of these men are pushing upon our people, man. We got to wake up and come out of that and realize who the devil is that the Bible speaks of. You got it.
That's right. That's right. And I just want to read a little of this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. If you want to read the whole article, I mean, it's right here. Satan Con. You can type in the title, it'll pop up. So it reads, hundreds of members of the Satanic Temple gather in Boston. It's supposed to be the founding city, one of the founding cities of America, this weekend for what has been dubbed the largest satanic gathering in history. So that's prophecy unfolding. The largest satanic gathering in history. The sold out event at the Marriott Copley Place is a 3-day event, which includes everything from satanic rituals, entertainment, and panels. So this is madness, man. All right, we're just talking about their satanic rituals. And then they do entertainment, satanic entertainment, whatever that is. Then you can ask the Satanist panels, well, what do you think about this? And how long have you been a Satanist, right? I'm not gonna okay, let me read this. You got Edomites out there going against them. The event began Friday, April 28th, with the tearing apart of a Bible and the thin blue line flag, an item which has come to be viewed as a sign of supporting law enforcement and as opposition to the Black Lives Matter movement. Mass live report. So they kicked it off and we showed you. They tore the Bible. They said, we're not going to do nothing. No satanic rituals, no panels, no entertainment. We must rip apart the Bible first. Let's jump down. The crowd chanted, "Hail Satan," as the 2 items were ripped apart. Now in the scriptures, it says, "All hail Yahweh Shai," paraphrasing, man. Right? In the book of John. But now they're saying, "Hail Satan," as the Bible and the other blue line was ripped apart. The theme for this year's convention is, so you don't even want to say some of these words, man. Hexennacht, also known as Witches' Night, a German holiday that takes place in April and is similar to Halloween. The event this year is a milestone for the Satanic Temple, which marks its 10th anniversary in 2023. They have dedicated the 2023 convention to Boston Mayor Michelle Wu after the group were barred from delivering a satanic invocation at Boston City Hall. Right? The Satanic Temple released their list of events and the official program schedule on Instagram, which included an array of unholy events, including a semi-formal satanic ball and discussions including Satanism and the BIPOC experience and deconstructing your religious upbringing. So here's their schedule, right? The sober mass, body modification and satanic culture, pandemonium, 5,000 years of demonology,
just raging and tumults,
just outright lust, just evil. 5,000 years. So they really into this. They really into it. They really invested in it. Right? 5,000 years of demonology. So they're talking about familiar spirits and, okay, this is the demon that can do this. Okay, or this is the demon, or that's in charge of, okay, if you really want to talk to this demon, okay, here's the voodoo doll, but make sure you do it like this. And everybody claps their hands and does God knows what. Here's the, at 12:30 is going down. The devil is in all of you. The changing face of Satan in cinema. Okay, at 1:45, digging up devils. The search for a satanic murder cult in 1985. If you want more information, go to tstsatancon.com. Right? So I'm not going to read this whole article, right? But you know, this actually happened. It's a 3-day event. It was brothers WFI Rhode Island. The brothers actually went out there, man. They traveled out there to be a light in a dark place, man. To rebuke the wickedness, man, and gather the few Jakes that was out there, right? And it was something to see, right? So this was going on, man. right? You got Satan rising up against Satan, and you got Satan Con. The brothers have anything else you want to bring out on this?
Con, I got one more. You got some
Con,
y'all
bring it out.
done? You got some y'all done? You sound a little low, King. But this is the book of Job, chapter 22, and verse number 11. And these are the thoughts of the wicked. And the Lord,
Right.
he literally put in the Bible the thoughts of the wicked, in case you didn't know. In case you may not know how to break it down, you may be lost, may need to see what's going on. The Lord literally put the mind of the wicked and shows you how they think in the scriptures. It's Job 22 and 11. I'm going to start at 10. It says, their snares are round about thee, and sudden fear troubleth thee, or darkness that canst not see, and abundance of waters cover thee. Is not God in the height of heaven? And behold, the height of stars, how high they are. And thou sayest, how doeth God know? Can he judge through the dark clouds? That's a lot of men's mentality, man. The Lord doesn't exist. He's not going to judge. Somebody think the Lord actually just went away, man. It's not coming back. He just disappeared off the earth. The vengeance, the prophecy, the plagues, right? All of these different things. And that's when the wicked turn up the most. That's why iniquity has to increase till the time of threshing come. It says thick clouds are a covering to him. That's why a lot of people that like to go in dungeons, dark rooms, basements. At night, they want to come out. It says stop clouds are covering to him that he cannot see if not. And he walketh in the circuit of heaven. Thou hast marked, so like it has thou marked the way of old, which wicked men have trodden down. So you have to mark the way of old, meaning the old path that old men have trodden down in their wickedness, man, in the time of Noah. That have been drinking, having sex, reveling, riots, strange things was going on while Noah was the righteous was building, dealing with the Most High. So you have to mark that way which was trodden down. The Lord told you it was trodden down, meaning it's a pathway for you to clearly see what not to go down. It's not something where you're curious, you're in the Amazon, you're trying to figure out your way to come to the light. The Lord has marked a path for you, man. It says, which were cut down of the time whose foundation was overflown with the flood, which saith unto God, depart from us. So this is the thoughts of the wicked, to depart from us. And how much more than Satan con, man? Satan con, all of them want the Lord to depart from them. It says, and what can the Almighty do for them? Because they have their own gods, which are idols, right? They do their own sacrifices. They have their own priests on the left-hand side. They have their own Bibles, which are nothing more but spells and witches and different things. So they feel like the Lord can't do anything and they want to depart. Because that's the same spirit that came when you read the book of Genesis, the 4th chapter. But you guys.
Well, that's right, man.
Can brothers hear me?
Con, yeah, you sound a lot better.
I want to land back off that where the brother ended with Cain. You notice a lot of wicked men in the scriptures, they make rage the leader of their battle. This is a spiritual warfare. Yahushua, he's the Lord of hosts. He's the captain of hosts. When you read Joshua 5 and 11 on down, we have rank, we have order, especially when we go out on the highways and byways. We're strategic. But on the left-hand side, they just make rage the leader of their battle. Can you go back to that itinerary, that wicked itinerary, Bob Kushar? One thing said, just raging. What did it say?
Salakia. It was more, right? We only read one page. We didn't do Friday or Saturday. So we only did Sunday.
Pandemonium. That's bad. What are you doing?
Start from the beginning?
We start from the beginning. Opening ceremony. Oh,
you got it.
You got it.
Yeah, just reading through it. Satanic panic in Brazil, right? God knows what that means, but it's for an hour and 15 minutes. Hellbillies, not hillbillies, hellbillies. Visible Satanism in rural America, right? You got countryside Satanists, all right? Struggle for Justice, TST campaign updates, and a Satanic Ball from 7 to 9. Then Saturday, they had a decade retrospective. Wow. Deconstructing your religious upbringing, reclaiming the trans body, atheist strategies for self-determination and empowerment, sins of the flesh, Satanism and self-pleasure from Dr. Eric Sprinkle. So whoever this guy is a definite demon, right? Hour and 15-minute breakdown on self-pleasure and sins of the flesh. Reimagining Lilith as an archetype for reproductive justice. This is bugged out. Satanism and the BIPOC experience and off-site entertainment. Whatever. God knows what that means. Right? What you got?
Yeah. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 10, verse 24. It reads this. Slightly verse 27. So after their prayer, they took their weapons and went on further from the city. And when they drew near to their enemies, they kept by themselves. This is what the Jews did, right? This is what we do every time we go to war, every time we go to battle. You know, before we go to battle, rather, we throw up a prayer to the Lord. All right, we don't just wing it. But this is verse 28. Now the sun being newly risen, they joined both together, the one part having together with their virtue, their refuge also unto the Lord. Right? We depend upon the Lord for salvation. But Satanism, they depend on themselves. And that's why they fall. Or one of the many reasons why they fall. And it, as we continue to read, it says this. They joined both together, the one part having together with their virtue, their refuge also unto the Lord for a pledge for their success and victory. The other side, this is the left-hand side, making their rage leader of the battle. And that's wicked. You make rage the leader of the battle. You know, we have meetings, we have conferences on the right-hand side, how to better improve ourselves through the spirit. You know, we have certain lessons. We got the cold cuts. We have our own itineraries on the right-hand side, right? It's all predicated off the foundation, which is Yahweh Shai, the commandments, the Lord. It's beautiful. But this is what's happening on the left-hand side. This is how they prepare to go to war. It's nothing but rage and anxiety and a rush. This gets somebody riled up. Just reading it gets somebody riled up. Sins of the flesh. There's one called the pandemonium. I'm gonna Google that word pandemonium real quick, in case Jake don't know.
Quick point while you look that up. One of the guys' name is Judas Marduk. So you know that's an Amalekite.
Yep.
That's an Amalekite. And real quick, Yardan, when you look that up, can I throw this real quick? Real quick, if you don't mind. I looked up Dr. Eric Sprinkle, who taught the sins of the flesh lesson. Hold on, this is madness. Can brother see that? Is it blurry?
Yeah, it's a little blurry.
Okay, so psychology professor accuses God of being a sexual predator for impregnating the Virgin Mary without her consent. So that's the guy right there who taught that lesson, that breakdown. He got breakdowns.
Don't understand it.
Cold cut.
Yeah. So that word pandemonium means a racket, a babble. That's what they're doing in there. A hubbub. You know, like someone would say, what's the hubbub about? And a hubbub is noise. And when you continue to look at it, it says confusion, chaos, pandemonium. It's mayhem. It's disorder. It's havoc. So they just got a whole section where they just kind of freak off and just rage and foam at the mouth and just turn up on the left-hand side and turn out. Turn up and turn out. That's bad. This place is finished.
That's right. That's right. So you got Satan Khan, like the brother said, man. You got Esau burning down Esau flags. More prophecy unfolding, right? More prophecy unfolding. It's from the 28th of April, just coming in. Saudi Arabia, Iran to reopen embassies within days, right? Saudi Arabia and Iran to reopen embassies within days. So they're linking up. Now, you may say, well, what does that mean? What prophecy is that? What is that talking about? Right? Well, if you study, if you're watching, you know, Saudi Arabia and America used to be tight, right? They used to be tight, strong allies, right? Saudi Arabia depended on America, depended on Saudi Arabia for oil. Arabia used the dollar, but now everybody's shifting, everybody step from America up with the new team. The new team is China, Russia, and Iran. So now you have Saudi Arabia linking up with Iran, right? Now this is biblical prophecy. This is major prophecy. Everything we're going into is major prophecy, man. This isn't a small matter either, right? Let me get this quick precept, right? You got the king. Let me get this in Second Ezra first. All right, this is major prophecy going on. Saudi Arabia and Iran. Let me pull this up. We had this as well. All right, hold on. See that? Arabia and Iran, right? They're linking up. It's all over the news. This Second Ezra, chapter 15, and I'm going to start at verse 29. I'm going to start at 28. Second Ezra, chapter 15 to 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. Now, those countries, Saudi Arabia and Iran, are in the east. So Ezra saw countries from the so-called Middle East, right? Countries from this region, right here. A horrible vision thereof from the east. Let's go back to this. Second Ezra 15 to 29. Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia, right, shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. So the dragons of Arabia are your so-called Arabic nations, the Ishmaelites, right? The dragons of Arabia is a biblical term for what you call, let's pull this up, your Gulf Corporation Council, right? The Arab states, right? That's your dragons of Arabia. If you look up your Gulf Corporation Council, I want to pull these countries up real quick. Okay, you see that? You got Saudi Arabia, you got Oman, you got Qatar, you got Bahrain, you got the United Arab Emirates, right? You got Kuwait. So these are your nations of the dragons of Arabia. And their military arm is the Peninsula Shield Force, right? The Peninsula Shield Force. So those are the nations of the dragons of Arabia, your Peninsula Shield Force, right? Which is the military arm of the Gulf Corporation Council. But the Bible calls them the nations of the dragons of Arabia. It reads, verse 30, also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. So the Carmanians are the people of Iran. So it said the Carmanians are going to join battle with the dragons of Arabia, right? And that's what you see right here, man. Right? You got Saudi Arabia linking up with the Carmanians, which are the people of Iran. Brothers got it. Right? Can brothers hear me?
Oh, come, but all right, you got it. Let's write some.
No, so I can go on. So when you go on and you look up, if you look up an ancient map, right, of the Persian Empire, you'll see a place called Carmania. Carmania is in modern day Iran, right? Let's look up Carmania, right? We'll just type this in. Persian Empire. So this was an ancient region of the Persians, right? Their entire empire. All right, let's see if I can zoom in. Let me see if I can get this map a little bit larger. Salakia. Right? Let's see if I can get this map. Some maps show it. Okay, Salakia, they're giving me hell. All right, bear with me. So that's why it's good to go into history. Okay, you see that? They always want you to pay for something, man. Can't even get a map. Yeah, without paying for it. Let's see if we can get a good map right here. This is a decent map, right? If you look at the Persian Empire, right, you see a place called the Carmanians. The Carmanians are your modern day Iranians. All right. So when the Bible says that the Carmanians in Second Ezra, let's go back to Second Ezra chapter 15. Second Ezra chapter 15 and 30. Also, the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. Because what is the prophecy of Ishmael? Right? It says that they will be a wild man in Genesis chapter 16. So that's where they're going to go forth as the wild boars of the wood. A wild boar is uncontrollable. We've seen Apocalypto, they were hunting a wild boar. That wild boar was knocking people down, moving in wrath, rage. You understand? Headstrong. So that's how those Arabs are, man. They're blowing up themselves. They're throwing acid on people. Right? They're still stoning people. They're chopping off heads. They're doing whatever it takes, man, to be a wild man. So the Carmanians are going to go forth as the wild boars of the wood. And then the days of them talking to America are going to be over with. It's going to be physicality. It's going to be war. That's what this is talking about, the war between your so-called Middle Eastern nations and the so-called white men. So again, your Middle Eastern nations, they're called the dragons of Arabia, but really, you're not going to find the dragons of Arabia in modern day verbiage or vernacular, right? Now they're called the Persian Shield Force, right? The Peninsula Shield Force, Salaki, right? The Peninsula Shield Force is the military arm of the Gulf Cooperation Council. Just like NATO is the military arm of the European Union. All right? So that's the military arm. It is intended to deter and to respond to military aggression against any of the GCC member countries. So it's just like NATO, but for the Ishmaelites. Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. Right? The United Arab Emirates. So you have this massive Dragons of Arabia army that will also be backed up by the Carmanians. So when you see the Saudi Arabia and Iran becoming friends again, the prophecies are beginning to unfold. Everything's lining up. The Mossad is a mastermind, a grandmaster on the chessboard, man. And he's putting all of his pieces, thinking 10 moves ahead, man. He's linking up political alliances. He's waking up the Israelites over there. He's causing earthquakes over there. He's touching the earth right now, man. So 2nd Ezra 15 is a monumental prophecy showing that what you see now is it hasn't happened in a long time. And the fact that they are opening embassies within each other's countries is a sure warning to America and Western Europe. The brothers got it.
Con, the brothers bring out Genesis 16.
La'ah.
Okay, con. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 16 and verse 12. It says, and he will be a wild man, and his hand will be against every man, and every man Salaki hand against him. So Ishmael is going to be a wild man, man. He's going to be blowing himself up. He still has that ancient mindset of chopping people's heads off, stoning people, you know, yelling and speaking all in his tongues, hopping out of planes. Hey, Ishmael will kill himself. They're warriors on the left-hand side. They want war. They want blood. They want to win. You understand? It says, and I'm going to read that part again. It says, hand will be against every man. So if you're not in his Arab League, if you're not in the peninsula like the brothers going into, in every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. That's why they all dwell together in the east. So these visions that we read about in this prophecy that the Lord is speaking about, it hasteth to come to pass. We're not going to continue to read 2nd Esdras just for hundreds of years, and nothing comes to pass. This 2nd Esdras 14 and 17 says, for look how much the world shall be weaker through age. So every single day that you're alive in this thing, you're in the truth, just know you're one step closer to prophecy kicking the past. The Lord coming back. World War III on the rise. It said the world should be weaker through time. It says, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. That's how you know you're entering toward the end. The Satan come, these alliances, right? It says, for the truth is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come, which thou hast seen. So the Lord said it hasteth, meaning it's speedily going to come to pass what we continuously reading about, right? Every single day. Every single day the world's getting weaker. The economy's getting broken down. Alliances are being strengthened. They're being made. And men are inching closer and closer to destruction and salvation. You got it.
Khan. I want to get this quick precept and right, this Revelation, the 16th chapter, right? And again, this is a big deal right here, man. This, who would have thought the Iranians and the Saudi, because some people think, well, they're all Ishmaelites, they're all together. Well, remember, some Ishmaelites, they had an affinity to America. They loved America too, man. And Saudi Arabia was one of those countries. That was, you know, Joe Biden, he tried to call them, man. And he said, we're not answering you. So they used to kind of be tight. But as the so-called white man watches Saudi Arabia link up with Iran, you know, that is not good for Esau, man. That is not good. See that? Look at this. How Iran and Saudi Arabia's diplomatic breakthrough could impact the entire Middle East. So you got China, you got Saudi Arabia on the far right, and you got Iran on the left. These are the kings of the East right here. These are you're looking at the kings of the East. Right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 16. Right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 16 and verse 12. It reads, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And you see the Euphrates River drying up. You can look that up on your own. You're more than welcome to take the time to look up the Euphrates River drying up. And how you see it now, it didn't look like that during the time of Cyrus and Belshazzar and all these different heathen kings, man. The way that river looks now, it almost looks like a desert. So you have that river drying up just so the Most High can send all of the armies of the earth in that particular region, that there be no stumbling blocks or no geographical impediments, man. No rivers, no stream. The Most High is going to clear that whole land up, make it a plain battlefield that tanks may go through, paratroopers can land down, Humvee vehicles can go across, and he's going to set that whole place up as a massive land of war. That's where that river's drying up. So Arabia, China, and Iran could fight against these other nations, man. So this is a big deal on the earth. The Carmanians raging in wrath, joining force with the dragons of Arabia. Right? Look at this. See that? Let me see this real quick. Okay, let me read this real quick. Brother had a precept?
Khan, I got one. This
Okay.
Joel chapter
Read
3.
real quick. This
Khan, you got it.
Okay, Khan. No, go ahead, King. It was a delay.
Okay, Khan, no doubt. This Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. So, I mean, these alliances are going to be strengthened in the last days, man. Because the men of war, these different alliances, they're waking up, man. They're joining together. And this is speedily happening, man. Think within the last 400 years, how many alliances have been made in the last 100 years, man? I mean, really think about how fast things are moving together. How many councils are being held and things are being done from the 1900s to 2000 all the way out, man. And think how fast things are moving, man. If you can't notice how fast prophecy's kicking off and moving, then I don't know what to tell you, man. It says, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Jump to verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come up, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. So like the brother was going into, right about the Euphrates River, all of that's being done so that prophecy could kick off. The Euphrates River is drying up. I mean, the Lord is speaking to you, you know, through the birds of the air, through the climate changes, through the Euphrates River drying up, through the men of the Lord. It's as if the Lord is speaking through every element that's on the earth, through the weather, through the earthquakes, you understand, through men, through the beast. If you can't feel the spirit of the Most High on the earth, I don't know what to tell you, or the Lord's not dealing with you. It says, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. So the Lord's going to strengthen up these alliances in the last days to come up for World War III. You got it.
Con. And I want to get this in I want to read this real quick. So they split at one time because of religious differences, right? Oh, I'm gonna play this. Well, we may not be able to hear it. We've been having trouble with hearing, right? But Saudi, Iran agreed to resume diplomatic missions. Both nations reopening embassies and deal brokered by China last month. So let's read this. Right? Last Iran extended an official invitation to Saudi Arabia's king. So they have actual kings of the East. Right? They don't have presidents or prime ministers and congressmen. Saudi Arabia's King Salman to visit Tehran, one of many steps recently undertaken by the two countries as they slowly improve their relations. The two countries have been bitter rivals for decades, but their relationship has begun to thaw since they signed an agreement to resume diplomatic ties in Beijing last month. It was a diplomatic breakthrough and a standoff that has shaped events and attitudes across the Middle East for more than 40 years. So they've been beefing for a long 40 is a spiritual number, right? For a long time. The two countries completely severed diplomatic ties after Sunni Muslim ruled Saudi Arabia executed a prominent Shiite Muslim cleric in 2016. Iran's ruling clerics and most of its population are Shiite, and the two nations' animosity has exploded into proxy wars in several countries across the region, including Yemen, where groups backed either side have taken a heavy role in human lives, and it caused a dire humanitarian crisis. So, war in the Middle East, they're all linking up with China, right? They're all linking up with China. Now, I'm going to read this one more. It reads, there are types of common medicines: American medicine and Chinese medicine. Saudi political analyst Salman al-Ansari told news. Saudi spent 4 decades trying to convince the United States government to stop Iranian terrorism in the Middle East, but they didn't get the results they were after. See that? So they're pushing away from America, man. They didn't get the results they were after. So the kingdom, Saudi Arabia, decided to shift its direction to Chinese medicine, said al-Ansari, right? And it's not literal medicine, right? Will it succeed in preventing the cancer of Iranian terrorism from spreading in the Middle East? Only time will tell, right? So they're all linking up now. China's the middleman, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. Let me get a quick precept. Isaiah chapter 21 and verse 1, right? Isaiah chapter 21 and 1. The burden of the desert of the sea, as whirlwinds in the south pass through, so it cometh from a desert, from a terrible land, right? So that terrible land in that desert, where the destruction is coming from, is from where the Arabs dwell at, right? Let's read on. A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. All the signs thereof have I made to cease. So the Most High is commanding the Elamites, right, which are like your Pakistanis, and some of the Iranians are Ishmael, some of them are Elam, right? And your Media, your modern Medians or Medes, are your Russians. Because as much as China has an alliance with Iran, Russia also has an alliance with Iran. There's something called the RSII alliance, which is Russia, Syria, Iran, and Iraq, right? And Iraq has a lot of Elamites in it too. So all of those countries, the RSII alliance, your Persian Shield, Peninsula Shield Force, the Kings of the East, they're all on one unit. So the Lord is telling the Russians and these other Middle Eastern nations to go up and besiege Babylon the Great. And let's read what's going to happen. Verse, I'm going to jump down. Verse 6, Isaiah 21 and 6. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, go, set a watchman, and let him declare what he seeth. And he saw a chariot with a couple of horsemen, a chariot of asses, and a chariot of camels, and he hearkened diligently with much heed. And he cried, a lion, my Lord, I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and I am set in my ward whole night. Right, let's read on. And behold, here cometh the chariot of men, that's these Ishmaelite armies, with a couple of horsemen, those is tanks. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, is fallen. Let me read that again. Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her gods he hath broken into the ground. So Babylon the Great is going to fall about a lot of nations, but chiefly you got Media, which are your modern day Russians. You got Elam, which goes into your Pakistanians and your Iranians. You read about the dragons of Arabia, and you see those alliances that are really on the earth right now, man. Again, your RSII alliance, which is Russia, Syria, Iran, and Iraq, and your Peninsula Shield Force, man. So all of them are going to link up to be the kings of the East and cut this place down. Brothers got it.
I got two quick precepts. The first one is in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 12. And it reads, and if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken. What we're looking at is the threefold cord. And you have to understand, not every nation can be equally strong. It's either somebody's going to be stronger and somebody's going to be weaker. And what we're seeing is a slow transition, or rather a quick transition of power and dominion in the land. America's power is slowly slipping out their fingers. The dollar's falling.
Right.
The banks is falling. It's shutting down. Educational system is shutting down. More people are not applying to be in our army. The power structure is changing drastically. And again, a threefold cord is quickly broken because all the alliances, the bridges that Babylon had, slowly burning as well.
Yep.
The alliance that they have with the Iranians, the alliance they had with France. They had a long history, France and America. Then you had the president go all the way to China. He came back kind of saying, look, I think we should drop the dollar. I don't think the EU should have any parts in what's going on in Ukraine right now. I mean, they're just burning their bridges. The power structure is changing. Let me get this real quick. It's Ecclesiastes 10:8. And it reads this: because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. That slow shift of power is slowly being shifted from America to these other nations. And it's all prophecy. And I have one more in Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 11. And it reads this: make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes for his devices against Babylon to destroy it. You know, but I'm chiefly pulling that part out.
Slaki, Yaradan, you going in and out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, kind. You
Hello?
mind reading that again? You went out when the verse came out.
This is Jeremiah 51:11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes for his devices against Babylon to destroy it. And that's plain because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple, right? But the point is, I mean, that's what we're seeing today. These Medes, these Persians, the Lord is stirring up their spirit against Babylon. With that, I yield.
God. And all of these nations, they call America, when you look it up, let me see if I can pull this up. Right? But the great Satan, right? The great Satan is a demonizing, let me pull this up. And this is really put on by the Ishmaelites, man. They're the only nations that chant the great Satan. Right? I wanted to see pictures of, look at this. Hold on. Let me go back. There's a reason why Iran and these other countries put that out there, man. And this links back up to that Satan con. The great Satan is a demonizing epithet for the United States of America in Iranian foreign policy statements. Occasionally, these words, when I'm reading this first part, these words have also been used toward the government of the United Kingdom. The term was used by Iranian leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini right? And he looked like he not playing with the so-called white man, right? In his speech on November 5th, 1979, to describe the United States, which he accused of imperialism and sponsoring of corruption throughout the world. The speech occurred one day after the onset of the Iran hostage crisis, right? So they call America the Great Satan for a reason. So, I mean, they all have one agenda, man, right? They have one agenda to come against America and Western European countries. You can't get around that.
Let me pull this quick precept. This Jeremiah, right, chapter 51 and verse, I'm going to start at 28. Right, Jeremiah 51 and 28. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitants. So, I mean, just like ancient, right, Medes, right, the ancient Persians, ancient Babylon, this thing is going to happen all over again, man. You have a daughter of Babylon. You have the nations of the kings of the East. They're going to help destroy America just along the other nations will. So these ancient things that we're reading about in Jeremiah 51, right, Isaiah chapter 21, and all of these precepts, right, second Esdras, a lot of these things, there's prophecy to come, and a lot of these things happen already, but it's going to happen all over again, right? It says, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. They might have failed. They became as women. They have burned their dwellings. Her bars are broken. So Jeremiah did the same thing as Isaiah said, man. Isaiah said they should be like women in that day. Hey, Jeremiah said they're going to be like women. They're going to be frantic. They're going to have no helper. A woman, they run to a man for protection. They run to a stronghold, man. You understand? They're not going to have anybody to run to in that day, because everybody's going to turn their back on America. And America's like a woman because she's the great whore. So as she becomes this woman, and as she already is, she's not going to have no helper, no stay. She's going to be frantic, and she's going to be destroyed in the midst of all of these other nations. Right? You got it.
I mean, that's right, man. Right? That's right. So brothers are pulling the scriptures out. We're showing you that the scriptures are real. Life is being manifested right in front of you. Prophecies are unfolding, man. Right? Prophecies are unfolding. You see these nations all turning against America, all turning against Babylon the Great. So if you trusted in this place to continue, and your job to be here 50 more years, and you're going to be the next CEO, and you're going to be a billionaire in 40 years. We're not looking to be here 40 years, man. We're looking for this place to go down. And I believe Yaradan said the Lord said, let me get this quick precept on Habakkuk. Right, let me get the classic. This is Habakkuk, right? Or Habakkuk, how they say. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So the Most High said that there are visions and prophecies for an appointed time. Every prophecy is not going to be fulfilled during the time of King David. Every prophecy is not going to be fulfilled during the time of Abraham. Neither would they all be fulfilled during the time of 12 apostles. Man. You have certain prophecies that are for a set time, like America being destroyed, the Carmanians linking up with the dragons of Arabia, the wicked being revealed. The Lord said, at the end it shall speak, and it's speaking based off of the events. This is talk, loud conversations. This is one of the loudest talks in the room right now, man. And it's speaking right to you, saying, hey, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai is visiting the earth. And it said, though it tarry, but it may seem like things may not be happening because, Jake, you want things to happen on your time. This truth, the prophecy ain't going to happen on your time, man. Okay, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Well, brother, hey, look, this is on the Most High's time. That's why it says though it tarry, because it may seem like things are stalling and things kind of die down and nothing big is happening. The Lord said, wait for it. It will surely come and it won't tarry. Meaning, right when you blink, these prophecies going to come in like a flood, back to back to back to back to back to back. And all of the waiting was worth it. And all of the patience was worth it. And all of the standing in the spirit and doing the work and in faith and praying for mercy, it's all going to be worth it because you waited for these prophecies that tarry, and now you see them coming to pass, right? Now there's another thing, right? Still dealing with that region. You have the Syrian president, and I believe you kind of went into this, but you said Argentina, right? Argentina too. Syria joins the trend, ditches US dollar for the yuan. So that, I mean, that's playing. So Syria, they're linking up with China. Everybody's ditching the dollar. Italy, they're leaving America. France, they're leaving America. Saudi Arabia, they're leaving America. Right? Let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 14. All right, this Isaiah chapter 13 and 14. And it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. So everybody's turning back to their people. They're breaking off from America. They're linking back up. The Arabs are linking back up with the Arabs. Right? The Moabites are linking back up with the Moabites. Everybody's turning to their own people. The Syrians, they're linking back up with the Syrians and the other kings of the East, man. They're getting out of bed with this whore, man. Let me read that again. Isaiah 13 and 14. And this shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Brothers, God.
Khan, you got a yard down. Go ahead.
Hello?
Khan,
you got it.
Okay, Khan. Right, I wanted to pull this in Second Esdras chapter 4, verse 37 real fast. It says, by measure have he measured the times. So just like the brother put the precept in Habakkuk, hey, the Lord has everything on a strategic timeline. So to think that, it's going to haste real fast or haste real slow, you don't want to be foolish and how you viewing the world. The Lord showing you how the world is waxing low, and he has everything on a measurement. That's why wickedness has to increase until the time that the threshing come out. There's literally a time of threshing. Just like you're not going to pick, if you got a garden, you're not going to pick your tomatoes, too early or too soon. You're not going to pick, whatever fruit you may have in the garden, whatever roots you're growing. You're not going to pick them too fast. What happens if you pick an apple too fast? It doesn't have juice. Right. It's not going to be ripe. So there's more sin, more iniquity, more alliances to be made. Hey, you think America's finished, man? Wait till a couple of weeks from now, man. Wait a month from now if we still here. Hey, wait in the days to come when you actually go outside and see that city that used to be high is now an abandoned building. It's looking like the hood now, man. If you live in a city where you could drive by in the hood, the hood got beat up, cardboard boxes everywhere, spray paint, right? Burned down walls with bricks, people running around. You don't know if they're robbing or looting or on drugs. And that's what we see every day. When you go down these cities in the next couple of months and weeks, as the Lord starts to break down their economy, you're going to see the same buildings that are thousands of feet high, hundreds of feet high, are going to be in the same conditions as the hood, man. The police going to be in an uproar. This place is going to turn into madness. By the measure have he measured the times, and by the number have he numbered the times. And he doeth not move. nor stir them, the said measure be fulfilled. So there's a said measure. You have the 144,000. That's a measurement. That's an exact number. You have an exact time of the Gentiles to be fulfilled. You have an exact time of all of these things to be brought forth before the time that the Lord destroys this place. And I'm gonna get one more in Revelation. Matter of fact, yeah, let me get that in Revelation. Right, this Revelation chapter 14 and verse 15. It says, and another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle. So you have an ancient sickle that used to do the harvest and reap, right? For the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So all of these things have to come to pass, and there's more iniquity to increase. Because the Lord, through the hand of the angels are going to be the reapers. But the Lord is going to lead the reapers into the harvest to reap, man. He's going to gather up the elect, and everybody else is going to be burned. So just understand. Let me get one more real fast. Just
Con.
and when you don't wait, right? One quick point. And when you don't wait, you become a scoffer, man. Don't think that you're getting impatient and I don't know if this thing is real. You start to scoff subconsciously, man. Peter prophesied it about that. It's 2 Peter 3:3. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust and saying. So a scoffer isn't always just somebody saying that Yahweh Shai isn't real or the Bible isn't the way, it's Egyptology. That's not always a scoffer. A scoffer could come in many ways. A scoffer could be impatient of the Lord and give up hope. That's actually scoffing. It says, and said, where is the promise of his coming? You may say that in the back of your head, man. Man, these brothers always talking about prophecy all the time, man. Always talking about World War III. If I had a dollar every single time I heard the term World War III or America's be destroyed, I'll be rich. These type of thoughts within your head is scoffing, man. And the Lord destroys scoffers, not just weed smokers and drug dealers and fornicators. The Lord will destroy you if you're subconsciously scoffing about his coming, man. Not understanding how deep it is that all of these set things must come to pass. It says, for since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation. You may think that way, man. Ain't nothing really kick off since the time I've been in this truth. It's been 3 years already. It's been 5 years. It's been 10 years. It says, for this they willingly are ignorant of the Salaki, that by the word of God the heavens of old and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. So the Lord is telling you, man, these men are ignorant. You don't want to be classified in that type of spirit in the last days, not to be waiting upon your Lord with all diligence and giving heed to seducing spirits, not being patient and not understanding how deep it is, how everything is measured in the last days for it to come to pass. What you got?
Con.
I got it.
Con, go ahead, Yardan.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 6. And it reads this, and the Lord told us to observe the times, because he's given us tokens. All right. And a token is a sign. You have to observe the times, the signs, everything in between. And the Lord said this, a time to get and a time to lose. Right? You got to look up, turn on the news, check out the whistleblowers, seeing what time we're in. Is it a time that we're losing everything, or is this the time that we're gaining everything? Which is it? You have to use your discernment to figure that out. And a lot of people don't have that discernment. Right? So it says a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow. And rend means to destroy or tear apart. A time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. You have to ask yourself, what time are you in? What time is the world in? Right? If you're telling yourself it's love and peace, you have a strong delusion. You're in a fairy tale. Right? You've been watching too much Teletubbies. Verse 9. Verse 9. What profit? So I'm gonna jump down to verse 11. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Right? So when it's a time of war, which is what we see right now, a time of warring, a time of mourning, right? This is beautiful in the eyes of the Lord. And it's beautiful to us because we've been in captivity for so long. It's vexing. Nobody wants to go to work tomorrow. Nobody wants to think about paying rent today. Nobody wants to think about paying bills. Nobody wonders, like, how am I going to do this for my family and that? Nobody wants to think these things. Of course, we know that's the condition of the battle, but we weren't put on this earth from the beginning to worry and to stress about bills and cars and flat tires and dealing with coworkers. You know, that's vexing to the soul. So when we see these things pop off, it is joy to our hearts. It's beautiful to us. It puts a smile on our day. It recharges our batteries when we see Syria abandoning the dollar. When we see these other Ishmaelite lands saying America is the great Satan, right? Because we understand that that's prophecy, right? And we understand that the Lord is coming very soon and quickly.
Khan is right, man. And brothers make beautiful points. And I want to touch on this quick point real quick down here in this article. It says Jordan to host talks of serious return to the Arab League. So the Arab League is another alliance amongst so-called Ishmaelite nations, right? So that's why that links directly up with Isaiah the 13th chapter. Everybody's turning back to their own people. Because remember, I mean, there are 18 nations in the Bible, right? But on a geopolitical level, you have hundreds of nations. And everybody at one time, again, was in bed with America, right? But everybody's waking up. The Lord said in Revelation, right? Let's go back to Revelation, the 11th chapter. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 18, right? Revelation chapter 11 and 18, it reads, and the nations were angry. See that? And thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. So the most side, the point I want is, it says, and the nations were angry. So the nations are angry. They're finding out they've been robbed, they've been finessed, they have been coerced, they have been pillaged, raped by the so-called white man who is patting them in the back and stabbing them in the stomach at the same time. So now you have all these Ishmaelite nations saying, look, we need to gather back together, right? Saudi Arabia, Iran, we're not going to be enemies no more for the so-called white man. Don't let Esau get it between us. Remember, we're both wild men. You're a wild man, I'm a wild man. So they came together. Now you have Jordan linking up, telling them, hey, look, Syria, you too, come back home. Come back to the Arab League. Everybody's coming together. And there's really one common enemy. The common enemy is America, right? Babylon the Great, right? Let me just read this one quick part. Okay, it says Jordan, right? And if you want to see a map, we had a map of the Middle East pulled up. Let me pull this map up real quick again, so brothers can right, kind of see what's going on. So here's a map of the Middle East, right? So you want to kind of know a little bit of geography and the truth to help you with the history and prophecies. So you have Jordan right here, right next to Israel. You have Saudi Arabia, right? You have Oman, right? You have Iran. All of these countries in some form of fashion are all coming back together. So Jordan is telling their neighbor up north, hey, look, come back home. Come home, right? And that's why you have Jordan will host a meeting of Arab foreign ministers and Syria's top diplomat on Monday. See that? That's today, right? To discuss Syria's return to the Arab League as part of a broader political settlement of Syria's more than decade-old conflict, official says. The meeting, to be attended by Syrian Foreign Minister Faisal Maqdad and his counterparts from Egypt, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia would discuss a Jordanian plan to achieve a political settlement of the conflict. Jordanian government official said. Now, here's the last thing. The meeting comes 2 weeks after talks in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, between the Gulf Cooperation Council. We talked about that. You see that? Now remember, the Gulf Cooperation Council, their military arm is the Peninsula Shield Force. So you got the Gulf Cooperation Council, as well as Egypt, Jordan, and Iraq failed to reach agreement on a serious possible return to the Arab fold. So you got the Arab League trying to link back up with the Gulf Cooperation Council. All of these Arabs are coming together, man. They're trying to reach an agreement. They're trying to figure out, how can we get this done? How can we put aside our political differences, our minor religious differences, and come together to kill the so-called white man? And the Most High is doing it. The Lord said in Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, man. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the Most High is moving men on the earth according to his will, man. So I want to bring that point out.
Con, and I'm gonna get this quick precept too. To touch on that, the Lord's bringing, like the brother was saying, all of these nations, they're going to come together. So, I mean, in the last days, you want to make sure your mind is occupied on moving forward in the kingdom, to cast away all troubles, and essentially everything you're going through is very small. I mean, the little things you're dealing with right now isn't even 7%, 10% of what's actually going to come to pass. This is practice. You just strengthen yourself up to be able to endure situations, so that when other things come to pass, your faith, the precepts that you have known and you have studied, is going to carry you through the mercy and grace of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And that's the spirit that Ezra had. Ezra had a hasting spirit to the end. Right? Let me get this real fast. In 2nd Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 43. Ezra was so on fire, he asked the Lord, why didn't you make everybody at one time? Because you know how the Lord, he has a generation. Then that generation dies off, goes to the third heaven, regeneration, and come back on earth. It's another generation and another generation. Just like there's spirits, waiting to come down on earth. This is the book of 2nd Ezra 5 and 43. So I answered and said, couldst thou not make those that have been made and be now, that they are for to come at once? He said, look, why you ain't make everybody on earth at one time, so we can get this show on the road, man. This prophecy on the road. That's how on fire he was, man. I want to see these things come to pass. Why do I have to wait all of this time and there's so many generations? He says, that thou mayest shew thy judgment the sooner. It says, then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein. So he said, look, man, you're getting beside yourself. That zeal. So Ezra had that type of zeal to where he wanted the end to come, man. Prophecy to kick off. The words of the Lord to come to pass. You got to move in this same spirit of our forefathers and these prophets and these men that really hasted to the coming of the Lord. You got it.
That's right. I got a precept that line back up both your points. It says in Ecclesiastes 3 and 16, or verse 15, every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. Right? Iranians, you don't think deep down inside, you don't think they miss their brothers, the Saudi Arabians.
Right.
You don't think they miss the Afghanistans. You don't think they miss each other. It was all at one,
Right.
all one together at a certain point in time. It kind of broke off in the dispensation of time. Hey, they're homesick. They want to be together again. They want to drink tea and eat shawarma again together under one tent. I mean, with that being said, Israel, you got to clear unto your life. You have to know who's for you. I mean, the Lord is calling home, or it's like it. We have the Lord is calling us to come back to the scriptures. And who is in the scriptures? The brothers and sisters that you see on the fringes, right? The ones that's on the highways and byways, trying the best of their ability. Every Friday, Saturday, any day of the week, that you may see them out there on the chief cities, in the chief place of concourse, They're calling for you to come home, brother, to put down the guns in regards to shooting your people, to put down the weed, right? Calling home you sisters to stop being whores and harlots. So it's, again, it says all flesh consorted according to kind. It's like it. Every beast loveth his kind, and every man loveth his neighbor. We love our brothers at the end of the day, right? Hey, Esau loved Esau. That's why they got their own people. They march out and they kind of do their own thing. They really calling towards their own people, right? The Moabites, they call towards their own people. All flesh consorted according to kind, and a man will cleave unto his like. Right, Israel, get out of Babylon. What are you doing with the white man? What are you doing with him? This man eats pickle sandwiches with mayonnaise. He's just a doofus. We went over it earlier. He's having a pandemonium session. What are you doing with him? A satanic seminar with strange events and balls. Wow. What flesh? It's like, what fellowship hath the wolf with the lamb? Now the scriptures, we're personified as meek, lowly, as sheep and as lamb. That makes the wolf the nations, specifically Esau. So what fellowship hath we with them? So the sinner with the godly. What agreement is there between the hyena and a dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor? As the wild asses, the lions prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. Last time I checked, according to the scriptures, Israel is the poor. So what fellowship have we with the so-called white man? I mean, one more thing. These Edomites, their business is falling short. You think they're going to save you? You think they're going to kind of extend their hand out to you and say, hey, I got you? No. They're going to look out for their family and for their own people, for their own good. They don't have you, but their interests at heart. So again, every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. So the Lord is telling you to be a separatist and join into your own people. That I yield.
And I want to show one more thing, right? Just quick. This is something I saw earlier too. Now this is spiritual. This is circulating. This is going viral. A crow pulls the Israeli flag from the mast and throws it to the ground. So why would the Most High allow a crow to rip apart the flag of the so-called Jew and throw it to the ground? For what? This is all over. A circulating video, right? Here's another one. The Most High put the spirit on a crow to take the flag of the so-called Jew, man. Rip it down, right? And throw it to the ground. Look at this. Working hard. Figured that thing out, man. And threw it to the dust. That's a sign, man. Now I looked up crow. It means, it's just a fowl of the air, but in certain cultures, right? A crow as an omen, right? It says a crow. You said what, Yardan?
Oh, no, I pulled it up. You got it.
Yep, it says an omen of change. Now, is that in the Bible? There's a crow? No, right? So there's no scripture on that, but that's in certain cultures, man. Right? The crow is an omen of change, right? Crow lives in the void and no sense of time, therefore, right, etc. Right? They talk about what it means and change in time, right? So it's an omen of change. The crow, it represents change or transformation, right? Again, there's no exact scripture on that, but that's what a lot of cultures saw, man. So this crow throwing this flag down is not a coincidence. It didn't accidentally do it. It's not thinking it's bird food. The Most High has done this, man.
Right.
Yeah, how Bosh? Oh, go ahead, King.
I was about to say, and somebody recorded it, man, on top of that.
Yeah. And what's the chances of that, man? And why this flag? And why at this time? It's the flag of the so-called white man being cast down to the ground. And the Lord didn't use he used the dark bird, man. And the Lord sent the raven before the dove in the book of Genesis, man. You see that right there? So let me get this quick precept on their kingdom. So you got the flag of America being burned. That was the first thing we brought up. The flag of the European Union being burned. The flag of NATO being burned. Now you got the flag of the so-called white man in Israel being cast down to the ground at the same time that the surrounding nations are all coming back together. Right? So this is the will of the Most High, man. Right? Let me get Isaiah 26:5 real quick. Right? You cannot make this up. It is not a coinkydink, how they say, man. Well, that's strange. It's just the bird and its climate. No, brother. Right? That's spiritual right there. And like Ariah said, somebody recorded it, man. See that? Some Ishmaelites said, even this crow does not seem to like the Zionist occupation of another people's land and refuses to raise their flag on a land that does not belong to them. So even Ishmael can see it. You see that? So this Isaiah chapter 26:5. For he bringeth it down, just like that flag. For he bringeth down them that dwell on high. The lofty city, he layeth it low. He layeth it low, even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. Right? So I saw that spirit. Right? Here's another one. They got a video of a cat doing it, man. 2 days ago. The whole earth is rising up against the so-called white man. The beasts of the air are throwing down the flags. Right? The brothers got it.
Khan, that's right. And
it's like they said it's not the
no
first time. Look,
Khan, you got to go ahead.
No, I was just saying, look, that's not the first time. For some reason, the Most High put the spirit on these beasts, man, to be ripping apart the so-called white man's flag.
You got something else, Yardan?
Oh, you got it. I was going to get Job 12.
Nah, you got it. I was going to bring out the closing precept. You got it.
Okay, kind of. It's Job 12:7. But as we brought it out earlier, but bring it out again. But ask now the beast, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, they shall tell thee. Mm-hmm. This is a token. This is a sign. Where are the signs? I don't see it. That's what Jay keeps saying every Friday. Where I don't see nothing. What's going on? Here it is, brother. Right now, 9:07. Right on a Monday night. This is what's happening. This is a sign, and you have to have discernment to see. You have to have your eyes anointed with eye salve to properly understand what this symbolizes. Everything has a symbol in life. Everything symbolizes something, right? Even from the clothes that you wear, it symbolizes a certain brand and how they move. The glasses, everything symbolizes something. Even a banner, birds, animals, they symbolize something. How much more a flag? So this bird symbolizes change, and it's tearing down one nation. That I yield.
Khan. All right, let me bring this up.
Can I make one more quick point, King?
Khan, you got it.
It looked like a cross, too. It kind of looked like a cross. But I just wanted to make that point.
Khan. And you ripping that thing to shreds.
Khan.
It's the book of Revelation, right? Chapter 3 and verse number 2. And it reads, it says, be watchful. So that's one of the main things we got to do in the last days, along with charity, having faith, and keeping God's commandments, and praying for grace and mercy, right? It says, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. So, yeah, we watch for prophecy, we give alms, we have faith, but we got to watch, and we got to strengthen ourselves, man. I mean, this truth is all about being occupied in every single type of measurement, man. I mean, from your household to what you read, how you study, you're working, all watching for prophecy, All of these things are going to dictate your diet in this thing, man. You don't want to eat too much meat. You don't want to drink too much milk. You want to make sure that you're well versed and well rounded. And it says to strengthen, right? Salakia, the things which remain that are ready to die. So whatever's dying on you and only you can perceive, don't neglect that member, man. You don't want to neglect that office that's dying off. Exercise spiritually, man. Get that thing jogging. Whatever it is that you haven't touched on for a while, whether it be biblically in the scriptures or whether it be with arms, brotherly love, just evaluate your spirit, which you haven't been moving in as of late, and strengthen it up before the Lord takes it away. And that could be a talent, man, your gift. Right? The Lord may give you the gift of tongues, the gift of prophecy, the gift of counsel. Next thing you take, ain't exercise counsel in 3 weeks. Now you're just saying, brother, just deal with it, brother. Just deal with it, brother. So the Lord, just deal with it. And then now that brother's spirit is waxing lower and lower, you got blood on your hands. Whatever's going on, strengthen that thing up, man. That's what true men and true women do of the scriptures. It says, I have not found our works perfect before God. So, nobody on earth is just blameless and perfect until the coming of the Lord, and he just waiting, man. They don't got more work to do, more praying, reading, and fasting. We all do. We all need to be coveting prophecy, going harder with arms. I'm speaking to everybody, myself included, man. We got to go harder in this thing, man. Once you let your foot off the gas or you start to get some small things, you're going to fall little and little. Things aren't going to be as important. You're not going to want to read as much. Things aren't as big of a deal as they used to be. You're not ravished in the love of Yahweh Shah like you used to be. So you got to really zone in on examination. That's a very important thing to do. It says, remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast. It's going to be a lot of doctrines in the last days, and your faith could be shaken, through seeing all type of earthquakes, World War IIIs, and famines, and just brothers falling out. Because brothers are going to fall out, man. They're going to drop like flies. A lot of people are going to be removed from the faith. You may be by yourself. Hey, the Lord told you to hold these things fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. And like we say, week in and week out, a thief isn't going to knock at your door. The thief isn't going to drop a dish in the basement or in the kitchen, man, to let you know he's creeping around the house. He's going to go right in and he's going to go right out, and nobody has seen him. Nobody knows. And the Lord could visit your mind and take all your knowledge from you, man, in the middle of the night. The Lord could take your talent from you. The Lord could take your gift from you. And most importantly, the Lord could take your spirit from you. So continue to do the work of the Lord and examine yourself and keep watching the last days. You got it.
God Almighty. This is chapter Luke. It's like you. Chapter Luke. This is the book of Luke, chapter 7, verse 47. Instead of verse 45. Thou gavest me no, outside of 44. That's 43. Simon answered and said, I suppose that he to whom he forgave most. And he said unto him, Thou hast rightly judged. And he turned to the woman and said unto Simon, Seest thou this woman? I have entered into thine house. Thou hast gave me no water for my feet, but she hath washed my feet with tears, and wiped them with her hairs, with the hairs of her head. Thou gavest me no kiss, but this woman, since the time I came in, hath not ceased to kiss my feet. Mine head with oil thou didst not anoint, but this woman anointed my feet with ointment. Therefore I say unto thee, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. But to whom little is forgiven, the same loveth little. And that's deep, because it shows how much this woman did for Yahweh, right? And you have to ask yourself, well, how much am I doing for Yahweh? What am I doing for him, right? And remember, even how you treat your brothers, that's how you treat Yahweh. Did I call this brother when I said I would? I just said I would pray for him. Did I really pray for him? This is deep, because the more you love the Lord, the more he's going to forgive your sins. You're going to be right in his eyes. Beautiful. So again, wherefore I say unto thee, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. Don't be that person say you love the Most High, yeah, you study and you pray, but it's more to that. You know, how are you loving your brothers and your sisters? How are you loving yourself? Have you fasted lately? Have you examined yourself lately? Right? How are you loving the Lord? Through what actions? It's action, you know? So I'm going to read one last time. Wherefore I say unto thee, her sins, which are many, are forgiven. For she loved much, but to whom little is forgiven, the same loveth little. If you only show that you love the Lord a little bit, you'll forgive a little bit of your sins. Just a little bit. With that, I yield.
God, that's excellent points and wisdom, right? I'm gonna go to the classic in Revelation chapter 22 and verse 12. Right, it reads, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. So the reward is immortality, the everlasting life, the kingdom of heaven, servants and rulership, the glory, the promises. These things are right there for you, right? And it's up to you to be able to receive those things based off of your works. You're going to cash in your works in exchange for the promises that the Most High has given you, man. And with that being said, you want to sit there and examine your works, man, like Yaradan was going into, right? And works are manifold, right? Work isn't just going out to camp on the highways and byways, right? Work is how you deal with your wife and your children. Work goes into meditating. Work goes into prayer. Work goes into alms. Work goes into charity. Work goes into sacrificing yourself and making your body a living sacrifice. That's work you got to do. Selflessness, right? All of these things, exhortation is work. And rate yourself and see where you stand in every member of your body, man. And ask yourself, are you satisfied with the work that you have been doing? And if the answer is yes, then so be it. But if the answer is no, it's time for self-examination, reflection, prayer, reading, and being the best that you could be in this truth, man. You want to be a new man. Your inner man should be renewed day by day. That's written. Though the outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. So tomorrow you should be a better you, man. Right? The day after you should be a better you. And that following day, better you. Every day you should be renewed and getting closer to the stature of Yahweh Shai. That's why you have apostles, prophets, and men, man. Right there, we may meet on a level of the Lord, man. That's Ephesians the 4th chapter. Right? So we come to the fullness of the stature of Yahweh Shai, paraphrasing. Right? But with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai. We'll open up the floor for questions like we always do. Feel free to dial in, right? The number is 213-603-9096. Again, 2603-9096, and the PIN number is 94, and I'm putting it out 94809-305. Right, 989-305. You should see it on the live chat and or the screen. With that, Brother Nakwam, Shalom.
Brother Yardan, Shalom.
Shalom, brother. Right.